The laughter in the studio was almost deafening. The late-night host leaned over his desk, clutching his sides, while Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sat poised, her confidence radiating through the cameras. "Stephen Miller," she repeated with a smirk. "He's like if a Halloween clown and a used car salesman had a kid who stopped growing at 4'10". The audience howled. Even the host covered his mouth, pretending to suppress a laugh. The joke landed perfectly, too perfectly. Within minutes of airing, the clip hit every social platform imaginable. Memes popped up. Parody accounts were created. The phrase, 4'10" clown, trended across X, TikTok, and YouTube. Backstage, producers were ecstatic. "You just broke the internet again," one whispered as AOC scrolled through her mentions, smiling at the chaos she'd unleashed. For her, it was another night of sharp political theater, a bit of humor at a rival's expense. But outside that bubble, the tone wasn't landing the same way. Some found it hilarious, others saw it as cruel. Hundreds of miles away, in his Senate office in D.C., JD Vance watched the same clip play out on his phone. The screen flickered as he replayed it, eyes narrowing each time. "This isn't politics anymore," he said finally, placing the phone down. "It's mockery. Just a game to them." His aide hesitated. "Sir, it's going viral. You might want to stay out of it." Vance shook his head. "No, someone has to call it out." He opened X and typed, "Leadership isn't about who can insult better. It's about who can lead better. Our country deserves more than circus acts in Congress." The post went live. Within 10 minutes, it had tens of thousands of likes. People across the political spectrum began to share it, not because they agreed with Vance's politics, but because they agreed with his point. By midnight, conservative talk shows were already quoting him. "JD Vance just said what everyone's been afraid to say," one commentator declared. "This constant ridicule, it's poisoning everything." The following morning, Vance was invited onto Good Morning America. When the host asked if he was being too sensitive, he met her gaze steadily. "Mocking someone's height or appearance doesn't make you witty," he said. "It makes you small. We need more decency in public life." For the first time in a long while, the audience didn't clap for comedy, they clapped for conviction. Amara's discovery haunted her all night. She couldn't forget the way Eleanor's eyes had followed the candle flame, hesitant, curious, alive. Could it really be true? Could the billionaire's daughter see, but not know it? The thought twisted in Amara's mind until she couldn't stand it any longer. At dawn, she made a quiet decision. She would find out the truth, no matter the cost. The next morning, she entered Eleanor's room carrying a single red rose from the garden. Dew glistened on its petals like tiny pearls. "It's a beautiful morning," Amara said softly, holding the flower close. "I brought you something special." Eleanor smiled, her delicate fingers brushing the petals. "It smells sweet." "What color is it?" "Red," Amara whispered, her heart racing. "The color of love and life." She watched closely, moving the rose slowly from side to side. Eleanor's eyes, wide, bright, and trembling, followed it with unconscious precision. Amara's breath hitched. "Eleanor," she said, her voice breaking, "you're looking right at it." Eleanor froze. "What do you mean? You can see, can't you? You've been able to all along." The color drained from Eleanor's face. "No, that's impossible," Father said. But before she could finish, the heavy door creaked open. Richard Sterling stood there, pale as ash, eyes filled with fury and fear. "Amara," he said, voice cold as steel, "leave us." Amara stepped back but didn't move. "She deserves to know the truth," she said boldly. Richard's mask of power cracked. He turned to his daughter, his voice trembling. "Eleanor, when you were 5, You saw something no child should ever see. Your mother's death wasn't an accident. You saw it happen. You screamed for hours. Then, you stopped seeing altogether. The doctors said your mind shut your vision down, to protect you. Eleanor's lips parted in horror. You let me believe I was blind. I did it to spare you, Richard whispered. You were breaking, and I couldn't lose you too. Tears streamed down Eleanor's cheeks as light flooded her soul. Father, I can see you. Richard's eyes glistened. Then maybe, it's time you start living again. Amara smiled through her tears as sunlight burst through the window. Eleanor blinked against the brightness, seeing the world, and her freedom, for the very first time. Outside the courthouse, chaos erupted. Journalists swarmed like bees, microphones thrust forward, shouting Alina's name. Miss Cruz, how does it feel to be free? Did you know Ethan Hale would defend you? Are you planning to sue the Hales? But Elena couldn't speak. Her throat was dry, her heart still racing from the courtroom battle. For months, she had lived in fear, hated by the public, branded a thief, and unable to find work. Now, the truth had finally come out, but freedom still felt heavy. She wasn't sure how to live without the weight of accusation pressing down on her. Ethan placed a hand gently on her shoulder, shielding her from the flashing lights. Come with me, he said quietly. There's somewhere we can talk. He guided her toward a waiting car, ignoring the chaos behind them. As the door shut, the noise faded. For the first time in months, silence surrounded her. Elena turned to him, still shaken. Why did you do it, Ethan? You risked everything. Your father's reputation, your family's name. Ethan's eyes softened. Because you didn't deserve what they did to you. You were there for me when no one else was. I remember how you helped me study when I failed my first semester, how you made sure my mother's meals were ready when she was too sick to move. You were the only one who cared without expecting anything back. Alina's lips trembled. And your mother, she hated me for that. Ethan sighed. She was afraid, not of you, but of losing control. My parents' marriage had been falling apart for years. The bracelet was just an excuse. The car stopped outside a small cafe near the city park. They sat down at a quiet corner table, the smell of coffee filling the air. For the first time in years, Elena smiled faintly. I don't know what I'll do now. I have no home, no job, no reputation left. Ethan looked at her with quiet determination. Then start again. My family owes you more than money. I'll help you rebuild. You deserve peace, Elena. She shook her head. You've done enough. But Ethan leaned forward, his tone gentle yet firm. No, the truth set you free, but now, it's time to give you back the life they stole. Outside, the sun broke through the clouds, just as the first chapter of Alina's new life began.